Most founders obsess over revenue. They love the top line number. They love the screenshot. They love feeling of growth. But revenue is not the scoreboard. Margin is. Because a business can look strong on outside and still be weak underneath. It can be growing fast and quietly becoming more fragile. And if every new dollar creates more chaos, more payroll, more pressure, then growth is not making you richer. It is actually making you busier. And a busier founder is not always a richer founder. This is where a lot of founders get trapped. They see revenue going up, so they assume the business is healthy. But underneath that growth, the business may be carrying too much labor, too much software, too much network, too much rework, too much founder involvement. The real danger is not low revenue. The real danger is weak margin with high responsibility. That is how founders end up building companies that look impressive but feel exhausting. They're not leading a machine. They're funding a machine that constantly asks for more. And in this year, this is the wrong game to play. Because the business winning now are not just scaling, they're becoming more efficient while they scale. This is where AI actually matters. Not as a trend, not as a toy, not as a shiny tool you mention once and never integrate. AI matters when it protects margin. If AI saves time, removes repetitive work, speeds up response cycles, reduces manual handoff, or cuts rework, it is not decoration. It is a margin layer. And that is the shift many founders are missing. They're still asking, what can AI do? The better question is, what expensive workflow can AI make lighter? That is the real opportunity, not random adoption. Workflow transformation is the real opportunity. And right now, Canadian firms and small businesses are still early in the shift from AI use to real operational adoption, which means there is still a huge gap for founders who move intelligently now. Let's make it this simple. A weak business adds people to solve confusion. A smart business adds system to remove confusion. A weak founder solves problem by manually jumping in. A smart founder solves problem by building workflows that do not need to be re-explained every week. And that is why the best founders are not just asking for more output, they are redesigning how the output gets made. When you embed AI into support, follow-ups, intake, bookkeeping, sales ops, or any internal coordination, you're not trying AI. You're protecting time, energy, and margin. And that is the difference between experimentation and leverage. Now, here is where you can have a real edge. If you earn in stronger currencies and operationalize intelligently, your margin gets a second layer of protection. That does not mean cutting quality. It means structuring work so that business can run with less waste. Western markets often reward strategy, trust, and premium positioning. And then AI and clean systems help the delivery side stay leaner, faster, and more consistent. So the founders win twice. Once on pricing and once on execution. That is why the smartest global operators are not just selling more. They are designing margin into business model itself. This is the kind of business that can absorb mistakes, invest in growth, and still stay calm. सिर्फ revenue से ego feed होता है, margin से business strong होता है. That line matters because a lot of founders are still chasing the wrong kind of validation. They want bigger numbers, more activity, more visible motion. But motion does not pay you back if the business is leaking underneath. If your profit disappears the moment your revenue grows, you do not have a strong company. You have a stretched one. And stretched businesses do not feel powerful. They feel fragile. That is why systems matters like anything. That is why AI matters. And that is why operational design matters more than vanity growth. So what should a founder actually do? First, pick one workflow that hurts margins the most. It could be support, it could be follow-ups, it could be booking, it could be bookkeeping, it could be internal coordination. Now, secondly, track the before and the after. How many hours was it taking and how many hours does it take now? How many errors were happening before and how many errors are happening now? How long does it take to respond now? How much rework is happening? Third, embed AI only when it removes friction. Not everywhere, not randomly, just where it saves time, improves consistency, and reduces labor cost. That is how AI becomes a business asset, not by looking advanced, by making the company lighter. And once the workflow is stable, you move to the next one. This is the part most founders undercount. If AI saves hours every week, that time can go back into sales, product, hiring, or strategy. If it reduces rework, you save money twice. If it improves response speed, you can convert more opportunities without adding more headcount. That is why A is not just about efficiency, it's about compounding margin. And a compounding margin is what gives you room to breathe when the markets go noisy. A business with strong margin can invest. A business with weak margin can only react. That difference matters more than most founders realize. If you want to build something durable, stop treating AI like a trend. Treat it like a margin layer. Remove the waste. Automate the repeatable parts. Protect the work that actually needs human judgment. And build a company that gets stronger as it gets smarter. Because the founders who win next are not the loudest. They are the ones who build lean, intelligent, and profitable systems. Revenue is not the scoreboard, margin is. And a busier founder is not always a richer founder. So if you want the framework, comment margin and I'll send you the framework. And if you're a founder with a real story, you definitely need to be on the podcast, which I am taking in Calgary as of now. Let's connect and do big for the founders.